in. He was out throwing and working yesterday, and making good progress and steady progression, and that's all you can ask. And that's kind of really where we're at. As far as the exact level in the protocols, really I let those guys kind of just tell me, hey, he's making good progress. We're going to leave the door open, and that's why you see him listed as questionable.
Gamesmanship aside, realistically, do you expect him to play Sunday?
I think that realistically he's listed as questionable, and so he's making good progress, and that's kind of where we're at with that.
I wonder, just based on what we know about the protocol and how he has to be retested after every step, including a full participation in practice, that would be a pretty close crunch if he were to be cleared like Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
could go all the way up until 90 minutes before kickoff, because when you've got a guy that's a veteran player like him, you're not going to risk at all we're not going to skip any steps, so I don't want that to be misunderstood. But I think it would be silly of me to rule him out when you're talking about our quarterback, the guy that, means so much to us, if there's a possibility while not being able to risk him, and that's kind of where we're at with that.
Has he been able to be around the guys around the team?
He has, yes.
Will he practice anyway today?
Well, he'll be out there in a limited fashion today.
Just to make sure I got it right, does he have a concussion or not?
I can't answer that. He's going through that protocol. You guys got nothing else. Let's be honest. All right. Yeah.
If it doesn't go, is it a tie, a left tackle?
Yes. Yeah.
And I didn't. I think I was.
You guys now feel obligated to ask something else, huh?
No, I was in the Stafford
protocol as you were going through it. So Coleman Shelton, what's his?
He's going to be ready to go. Yeah. Yep. He's going to go. It's going to be great to have him. He's had a great week of practice, and so he's looked really good. He's not even on the injury report, and we'll activate Kyron Williams as well. So he's had a really good week. So both Coleman and Kyron represent, getting those guys back is a really good thing for us.
Ronnie Rivers, is he also in for Sunday, or with Kyron moving up?
There's a possibility, but, right now, we're just kind of just evaluating what does that 48 look like. But more than likely, it's going to be Kyron, Daryl, and Cam. And then if Ronnie ends up being one of those 48, sometimes it's, those 46 to 48 positions are usually kind of determined by special teams and some things that unfold once we unpack, everything from today's prep.
Sean, how has Cam been integrated back in? How is that going?
He's done good. He's done everything that we've asked Maria. I thought when he ends up coming back last week, we had already had, a good amount of the preparation done, but he ended up doing a great job towards the latter part of it with what he could control. I thought he contributed. He's had a really good week. He's practiced well. He's done a great job in meetings. And so you can't ask of anything other than the things that Cam's done.
How do you balance, earlier in very earnest comments about Matthew and wanting to make sure you guys are doing right by the player,
Yep.
and especially in accordance with his family and all of that. How do you balance that while also knowing that something like this would come right down to the wire?
Sure. Number one, you stay consistent in what we talked about. So you obviously have the medical expertise where if they're cleared him, but if the family and people aren't comfortable, if you're going to put him in a situation that people aren't comfortable with based on the information and the way that he's feeling, then he's not going to be playing. And so that stays consistent. Nothing's changed in that regard. The main thing is you just want to be able to leave the door open if there's that possibility to play with our franchise quarterback, who is an absolute stud.
Just in terms of the, I know we don't know, nobody knows when this happened or how he starts to
Sure.
see symptoms, but the duress he's been under, how have you guys navigated that? When he came here, obviously there was, maybe the thought of getting away from that kind of duress.
Yes. As far as, it's one of those deals that every single week, now you're talking about, you're probably looking at your 9th different combination that you're going to be starting in 9 games this year, which, hey, has it ever happened before? I'm sure it has, but it's been unprecedented for us. And so, however different ways that you can do to try to be able to keep him clean, there's different things. Obviously, running the football has been a challenge. That's usually one of the things that you look to be able to alleviate stress off of the rush, try to stay out of some of those known passing downs. But in some instances, because we haven't been able to run the football effectively, you're in more of those situations. There are things that you can do in the pass game to try to be able to supplement or alleviate stress off of the rush. there's been different things and things that we've tried to do. And then there's sometimes where the flow of the game doesn't necessarily allow that to try to legitimately get yourself back in it. But however you cut it, Jordan, it's been one of the more important things that we're trying to navigate through. And a lot of instances you're saying, all right, what's the best way to be able to do it? Who are you doing it with? And then how does that apply to the opponent that you're playing against? And then the matchups that occur at the line of scrimmage, and it really is all 11 too, because it's not exclusive to just some of the different things of, all right, if you are going to throw the football, who are the guys that are playing on the perimeter that can do some different things that are in alignment with winning quickly or things that do take stress off of that rush with different phases of your pass game. And so, that's always been a part of what we do, regardless of whether or not you're getting pressure. Thing that's been challenging are all those things that I've alluded to. And it has been, very out of the norm relative to the way that our guys have typically protected the quarterback. But everybody has their hand in it, myself included, and it has been challenging without a doubt.
Sean, Cooper Cup was saying that you need innovation to get out of this rut offensively. Why is that not happening? How can you get that innovation?
Yeah, I'm open for it. What kind of innovation you guys want? I'm all up for it. And I think the biggest thing is figuring out, in a lot of instances too, certainly I have my hand, but we can execute a lot better. And innovation or different things, he's absolutely right, and I don't, whether you say innovation or different approaches, there's a lot of different things. We spend a lot of time to try to be able to figure things out. I'll never pretend to have a lot of the answers, but we got a lot of coaches that have a great grasp of what we're really trying to get done, understanding the intent of how we want to try to put our 11 guys in the right spots. And it's coaches and players in this thing together, but there's opportunities for the execution to be better. There's opportunities for some of the, decision making from my end to be better. But all in all, it really does boil down to clarity for these guys and then the execution within the framework of those plays. And there's been different breakdowns or there's been different bad decisions that have occurred. It's not one all-encompassing thing, but, we're working to try to be able to do that. I know people are probably frustrated. I guarantee you not as frustrated as we are and as much as we want to try to be able to get it fixed. And that's the mindset and mentality that we'll continue to have.
Saturdays have typically been a walkthrough for you guys. So how, if you could give us some insight, because Matthew would have to have a full football workload to be cleared, how do you kind of balance that also with the fact that you guys would just be doing a walkthrough on Saturday, to do something different?
Yeah, you could get that done with him, where you utilize practice squad guys, to be able to kind of accommodate some of those things that would check the boxes without leaving other guys susceptible to getting more of a workload than they're accustomed to.
Thanks for the clarity.
You're welcome. Okay, thanks, guys.